Give us an update on what happened on the bourse today.
On the Nigerian Stock Exchange today, the all-share index declined about 0.78% and basically continued the profit-taking activity that started yesterday in the week. Basically, a lot of pressure came from the banking sector, and as they are heavyweights in the whole market. That obviously had a pressure on the market, but largely, I would say, this sort of profit-taking, it's in line with what we'd expect, because with the sort of rally we had in the week before and in the past 2 weeks, we expect the market to soften a bit, as really no sort of news has really been in the market to spook the market in any direction. Also in terms of activity, activity was light. Today's trading, total value traded was down about 20% to about 2.4 billion. It sort of shows that interest in the market is still not strong at this point in time, and it's because there's really no news to drive the market in any direction at this point in time.
Well, give us a market expectation for this week. Are we going to see a bearish bourse?
I don't think the market would move significantly in either direction. I see trading at this sort of 25 to 26,000 mark for the index. I think it will remain volatile, as we see this sort of profit-taking activity, occur for a few days. We see bargain hunters coming back to the market to obviously, snap up those gains, and that's justified looking at the sort of corporate earnings we've seen in the past few months, and the market reaction to it, which is sort of neutral. Sort of suggests that market is just yearning for one big news to drive the market in either direction. So over the course of the week, I expect a flat performance, likely in the market.
Let's talk about IEI insurance results coming out. Firstly, what's the insurance sector like in Nigeria at the moment?
Well, insurance sector, largely, they're having a challenging year anyway in 2008 and possibly in 2009. Basically, what has happened in the past, it's that a lot of insurers have have taken up risk, through brokers, and obviously it has not been cash backed. And then what is happening in 2008, and obviously might also happen in 2009, is that a lot of them will have provision for a lot of those debts that they've not been able to recover in the past few years. And for IEA specifically, that was one of the reasons why they had a decline in their earnings, despite a strong growth in their underwriting business. So for IEI's business, I think the underlying business still remains strong. They're quite big in the oil and gas segment, which in 2007 rather, it was about 27% of their total revenue. So I think they're growing that business significantly, and obviously it's showing in the underwriting profit. But cascading that to the bottom line, that hasn't happened just because of the huge provision they had in 2008. That their provision for debts increased by 11 times to about 582 million. That's huge, and obviously that brought down their profits. So they had a decline in profit. But going forward, I think they have strong prospect. As we think there's a strong growth prospect in the oil and gas segment. Consider Nigeria is one of the biggest oil producers in the world, and also because a lot of the insurance in that sector have obviously been taken out of the country in the past. So with the oil and gas local content policy mandating mandating oil companies to retain that locally, I think a lot of prospects are there for insurance companies, and obviously IEI as well.
All right, let's talk about the Naira. There are speculations that the CBN might be looking at depreciating the Naira even further. What do you make of that move?
I don't share that view that that the CBN is looking at depreciating the Naira, because definitely their actions has been in contrast to that. What I think has happened is that the CBN has hurriedly moved to liberalize the market by changing from the wholesale from the retail Dutch auction system back to the wholesale Dutch auction system. And in doing so, they've not really, put in place modalities to check, activities of speculators, in that foreign exchange market. And so it's basically gotten more than what they bargained for. And that's why we've seen a huge, surge, in demand for Forex in the interbank market. And obviously, the central bank, hasn't really matched such demand, in the past. But recently, we've seen, the CBN matched, the demand in the market as it's come out to say, it's ready to defend the Naira. In the wholesale doctrinal session on Monday, it met, the total demand, in the market. And obviously, it shows that, the CBN is committed to make sure the exchange rate is stable. And obviously looking at the sort of reserves at $43 billion, I think that's huge. And that covers about 15 months of imports. That's 5 times more than what IMF considers safe for any country. So I think in terms of, the muscle to do that to defend the Naira, I think, Nigeria has that. And it's just for CBN to, to stock out the modalities to check speculative activities in that market.